Hello, my name is Meglue or Meg, and as campaign 2 comes to a close, I wanted to share with you guys this older Critical Role speed paint I did a while back. So today, I'll be going through the complete process of how I painted Critical Role's them abs Beauregard Lionette. And this one is way shorter than the last one, so let's get into it. So I started in Procreate where I already had an idea in mind. I wanted to redraw Beau in an action pose, and I say redraw because I was inspired by the piece I did for Critical Role's pub draw. And that piece actually meant a lot to me because I won a Wacom Intuos Pro from PubDraw, and the best part was I got to hear Travis, Marisha, and Babs howl my name.
Megaloo on Twitter.
Megaloo. So yeah, I legit cried from happiness that night, and many times after. But at this point, Beau's level 10 outfit was new, and I had been practicing so much that I was feeling confident to go forth with an action pose. And as an added challenge, I wanted to throw in some foreshortening in there as well. So armed with my reference pose, I began sketching out the large shapes of the body, followed by the more defining features of Beau's character. So where I want the clothes to start and end, where I want dumb abs to go, and what shape I want the cloak to be. And I don't know why I struggled so much with her hip scarf and the shape of the cloak, but I really did. I struggled. Like, we gonna be here for a while, folks. But eventually I get tired of fussing with all of that, and I just want to move on to the rest of the outfit, which looked amazing from the promotional art. Like, absolutely mwah, incredible. So just to avoid confusion for myself, I'll sometimes go through and illustrate different assets in different colors, just so I can fully tell everything apart. And also, I will write myself notes on things that just don't look correct to me, just so mostly I don't forget it, because your girl forgets a lot if it's not literally in front of my face. And I say this because you'll see here, sometimes I'll just redraw the same lines just over and over, just literally because I forget what I tried before. And sometimes I just need a little note reminding me what didn't work so I can try different things in the future. That's all. Yeah. And here you can see I actually went a little more drastic on her face than I normally would. Like, I really angled her chin. But with the larger features like the eyes and the eyebrows, I felt like it actually stood out really, really well from afar. Which is good because that head looks tiny in comparison to this foreshortened leg. So next I focus in on her clothes, like the way the stripes curve around her bust and just trying to make those stay in perspective, along with the lines on her armbands, things like that. So next I focus in on her clothes, just trying to really nail down all those details, like the way the stripes curve around her bust or just the armbands, and oh look, hands. I actually think that my first attempt was pretty good compared to this box technique that I'm trying, mostly just because the box wasn't in perspective compared to everything else. So let's just not worry about that. Let's draw a boot. Yeah, let's draw a boot, and then let's go back to this waist sash thing. Yeah, that sounds good. I think I mostly had issues with the waist sash and also the coat was because I wanted this to be like a very dynamic pose. So like I wanted movement to be going on, like she had just slid right in front of you, getting ready to punch the lights out of you. and just thinking about how if she were moving forward, how things would be blowing back behind her. It took some brain cells. It took all 2 of my brain cells. I did eventually figure out that hand, and I really like the way it turned out. It's more similar to that first attempt that I had, but I think it turned out pretty well. So now I'm going in for the line art, and I think I mentioned in my last video, I really enjoy line art when I have already figured out everything that's going on in the sketch below, because it kind of allows me to not turn my brain off, but just exercise a different part of my brain where I can focus on the energy and the movement and quality of the lines rather than worrying about where they should actually be going. Does that make sense? I think so. I think that makes sense. And listen, I know I literally just said this, and I see those unfinished arm squiggles on her armbands, but don't worry, I had a plan for this upcoming. So don't worry about that. Let's just continue to watch this line art turn out honestly really well. I really like it. It's such a good feeling when you turn off the sketch layer and you still like your line art layer. Oh, it feels so good. Afterwards, I then went around the piece and just boldened some of the outside lines. And then I pulled up the level 10 armor for Beau and just grabbed the base colors straight from the reference image. And I have to say, if Keyleth from Campaign 1 had Aang from Avatar: The Last Airbender vibes, then Beau gives me major Sokka vibes. Like, incredibly intelligent, but with a sarcastic, dry wit. No magic, as Marisha would say. All she does is punch things. Oh, and not to mention the undercut and the blue palette. Like, major Sokka vibes. Like, I don't know if Marisha has gone on record saying that Beau was inspired by Sokka in the same way that she said Keyleth was inspired by Avatar: The Last Airbender, but like, I see it. That's just my opinion. Just my 2 cents. Anyway, back to what's on screen. I've gone through with just some airbrush shading, just so that way I can get some form of gradient. And then I like to go back in with a hard brush and just get some hard edge shadows. And I don't believe I used my purple multiply layer trick on this one. I believe I just drew the colors. When I say drew, I mean took from. I believe I just took the colors straight from the reference image just to kind of make it more authentic to what the original reference image colors were. And you can see on the boots, I actually didn't do any sort of gradient shading at all. I did just use a brush that allowed for those hard edges, but did also go into a very soft gradient at the tips, just so that way it would help her boots kind of look more leathery and shiny like they do in the image. Oh, here. Okay, so this is where I go into the armbands and why I didn't worry about lining them earlier. So I just used a brush, went straight in, drew out the geometric shapes, set that to alpha lock, and then just colored them as if they were gold. So that way it didn't look so busy with the line art and then the color, stuff like that. And now we're on to the fur. I have no idea how I did this. I just kind of wung it. I used the same kind of brush that allows for hard edges and also to fade at the ends. And I just went back and forth with the colors, with the light and the dark, just making small feathering strokes until I got a texture that I was happy with. And I redid it a couple of times too. You know, as you do. Hashtag just artist things. Overall, I'm super pleased with how this turned out. Even if this is one of my older pieces, I still look back on it fondly, thinking of how far I've come. So I'm super thankful for the motivation PubDraw gave me, and to you guys for watching this far. Now let's take a look at the final result. Again, thank you guys so much for watching. I'm going to be doing more of these in the future, so subscribe. Oh, and don't forget to love each other. Bye.